Hi, everyone. I wanted to take a minute here to go over some information for my catechists and to apologize to you all for not getting in touch with you sooner due to the fluidity of the year and Archbishop's matrix changing over and over several times through the course of the last 6 months. I thought it best I just wait until I felt a little bit more confident that Archbishop Listecki was done making changes so that we could proceed on a more solid foundation with religious education before, giving you guys information and then saying, wait, that changed, wait, that changed. So hopefully from this point on, there are going to be smaller changes. I just caught wind that he is planning on making some more changes to the matrix, but I don't think that they're going to affect our program in any way, shape, or form. We've made our decisions and we're kind of going to be sticking to them for the rest of the year due to COVID. So I wanted to just briefly touch base with you. I'm hoping this doesn't take too long to go over the curriculum, the scheduling, and some upcoming changes so that you can make a better educated guess or decision as to where you would like to teach, in what capacity this year, if you would like to teach this year again. We are getting registrations back, so we are going to be needing catechists. The families are, for the most part, very excited about going virtually. It's not the greatest, but they are understanding and they're looking forward to moving forward with this type of learning. And I think we've got a pretty solid base set down where it's going to definitely not be as confusing as it was last spring when we had to just drop everything and roll. So please, I do implore you to please consider coming back as catechists. I know that the virtual learning aspect of it could be kind of scary for some of you. I've talked to many of you who are definitely on board, are coming back, or looking forward to it. And some of the changes in curriculum that are coming up are going to make this a lot of an easier transition from classroom to virtual than it may have been and was last spring. So let's move forward. And if you have any questions after this video, please by all means reach out to me. You can reach me by email, or you can call me on my cell phone. That number is 920-463-0150. I'm in the office limited due to my underlying health risks. I try to go in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you leave me a message at my office phone, I will return your call. So faith formation during a pandemic. Again, I'm not going to go through this slide by slide. I just want you to kind of have the opportunity to kind of pause this video if you want to. What's the reasoning behind us going virtually? And how is this changing the program? So basically everything that we did in the classroom is going to be done virtually this year. I just picture it as a classroom without the brick and mortar. And it's really not as bad as you might think. By now, most of us, if not all of us, have been exposed to Zoom in one way or another. And it's not that bad. Really, it's not. We will be using the Zoom platform. It's very user-friendly. It does give opportunities to have different options. You're not going to be, as catechists, you won't be needing to go in there every week and set up your classroom to send out to your families. Nancy and I are going to take care of that here within the next week or so to set up recurring classrooms so that the parents will get one link, you'll get one link, and you'll be able to hop into those classrooms with that one link for most of the year. We may need to reschedule some recurring classes as these run out, but just know it's not going to be you having to go in there and just adding one more requirement or one more responsibility to your already long list of responsibilities. Other features that Zoom offers, they're big breakout rooms, which I think are very awesome for the upper grades. Whiteboards, so the kids don't have to necessarily ask you questions. They could write it on the whiteboard or chat it to you, and you can have a co-teacher write it on the whiteboard, and you can use their whiteboard as well. And of course, we're following all the safeguarding protocols that are required by the Archdiocese and by Zoom itself. And all these items are going to be covered in the upcoming trainings. And you'll see at the bottom of this slide here the 3 dates that we're planning on upcoming trainings. We're hoping to make 2 of those upcoming trainings hybrid. Room 8 will be available, and Nancy will be there running that hopefully, and I will hopefully be doing it from home on my Zoom, or we'll both be at room 8 and we'll be Zooming it to those catechists who don't feel comfortable coming into the classroom or into the room. If you are unable to make any of the above dates or times, just let us know. We're user friendly and we're flexible, Nancy and I are. Will we have students? You read my mind. This was kind of a nerve-wracking thing for me this year. I know St. Teresa's, that their RE staff over there, Pam and Lori and Father and I and Nancy, really considered this and all the other options, and weighing and measuring the options and the onslaught of COVID. We just felt this was the safest route. So was this going to be okay with our parents? And again, virtual learning is not ideal, but we do have very positive feedback from the Sacramento families, the confirmation and first communicant families that I just finished interviewing last week. They're very, very hopeful. They're very, very excited, and they're all on board with this. Registration numbers are coming, are consistent with where we were at this year or this time last year. So I think it's going to be a very successful year. I don't know that we're going to have all 400 students that we normally have this year, but we are going to have, I believe, a good return of students for this year. We have lost a couple teachers, one, due to surgeries or for what just the inability, job changes or whatever. But we've also picked up a couple new catechists, so I welcome them. We've actually picked up 3 or 4 new catechists, and I very welcome them very much. One kind of exciting thing this year that we're doing is we've collaborated with St. Teresa's confirmation program and our confirmation program, where they're going to join us for everything the entire year. They have 3 students, so it's a very small program for them this year, but we're looking forward to that. It's something we've never done. We've always collaborated on retreats and on confirmation itself, the Mass, but we've never done the classes. So this is going to be kind of an interesting year for confirmation kids, and they're looking forward to it. Getting to know each other. Dawn Constantino is our new youth activity coordinator. Many of you have met her. Some of you may not even know that she exists at this point. She was hired the week before we went into furlough. So all summer, Pam, she's a shared employee between St. T's and St. James. So all summer, Pam and I and Lori have been, and Dawn, or I'm sorry, Nancy, have been working with Dawn to get her up to speed, keep her on board, teach her what she's supposed to be doing. But until you actually get your feet wet, it's kind of hard, you can explain. But she does have some really awesome ideas. She's got some great activities planned, and she's going to be working with our 2nd through 11th grade students to provide them some community time. If you have any ideas as to what kind of activities you'd like, most of you are parents. Maybe you'd like to see some activities, a bowling, game, or a Saturday evening bowling or afternoon bowling day with pizza and soda, or maybe we have a whole boatload of paintballing tickets left, passes left, that we could set up a paintballing. So stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be spiritually based. Baby Jesus was about community as well as spirituality. So basically the sky's the limit. So in answer to that first question of having students, yes, we will have students. And many of them are very excited at this new way of learning. So what does this mean for you, our teachers? Well, the classes are going to be shortened. There was a study done, and it says that you don't want to keep any student in the classroom more than a half of an hour. And I know you're all gasping right now going, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to get all this in a half of an hour? It's going to be a collaboration between the student, the family, and classroom. You guys will be teaching the core of what these guys need to know. And then hopefully the parents will kick on with the younger students, with their younger kids, and do an activity and some family activities and that type of thing. I'm relying heavily on family activity time, and I'm not looking at adding more activities to them. I'm looking at more of a natural, automatic kind of activities. You know, maybe they just automatically do a family game night on Friday nights. I'd like to have you take some pictures of that and kind of maybe throw some discussion questions out there while you're playing Monopoly or whatever, and say, what does this teach us about spirituality? What does this teach us about community and the importance of sharing time together? And what would Christ have done in this kind of situation? So it'll be natural family activities that'll be involved in here. Will there be a couple of them that I throw out there? Yeah, of course there will be. We're looking at some social ministry projects, and some of our families that I've talked to are very excited about that because they very much like to craft with their kids on a Sunday afternoon, especially while Dad's watching the Packers. So your class time with your students are going to be a half of an hour. Each catechist will teach 2 half-hour sessions with a 15-minute break in between. So you're going to be in the classroom the same amount of time as you would be if we were in the brick and mortar classroom. You'll just have 2 different classes, 2 different sessions that you'll be teaching within that hour and 15 minutes, again with a 15-minute break in between. And I'm working right now on I'm putting the curriculum together and getting all the lesson plans together and stuff. The one thing that the Archdiocese came out with this year is to be very flexible, that, you know, they've really backed off on you have to get this and this and this and this, and realizing that, you know what, maybe it is really about a return to Jesus and a return to making this not froofy and not, you know, unworthwhile, but just learning the basics. So smaller classes are going to allow you to do more one-on-one with your students and have more control over your class. You know, be able to, just as you would take a disruptive child out of the classroom and send them down to Nancy in my office, here you can mute them and just say, you know what, you need to take a time out, you need to take a break, and you need to be muted for a little bit. You could pause their audio if you need to, if they're being naughty that way. I'm hoping, especially with the younger students who normally are the ones that we have the problem with because they're just younger, I'm hoping that their parents, at least one parent, will be in there with them. I can't imagine letting your child be on a computer by themselves, but I could be wrong. I didn't when my children were growing up. The times may have changed. But I'm hoping that, you know, you'll have at least one parent in there where the disruptive behaviors will be less of an opportunity to be happening. Classes are going to be recorded. I believe there's a way you can do it in speaker view only, where you would be the only one that the video is recording. I'd prefer not having the students in the class on that recording, just because of safeguarding purposes. I'd prefer not having their names on that, and, you know, on their classes or in there, just for safeguarding purposes as well. I'm also considering each one of them selecting an avatar and a different name. You know, maybe little, you know, John Smith would be the fluffy bunny, and that would be what shows up, and you'd know him as the fluffy bunny for attendance purposes. I don't know. Nancy and I are working that out right now. You know, it's a matter of, we just got Zoom approved by finance to purchase Zoom. So it's really a matter of us getting those set up and getting ourselves trained so that in a few weeks here we can start training you guys. But we'll have that all down. Nancy's a whiz, you know. She's a lot more savvy at stuff like this than I am, but I've been using Zoom for the last 6 months, so her and I are a pretty good team. One of the benefits to this is that it makes extracurricular scheduling much easier for our families, and in return, that means less disruption for you. You know, it had to be disrupting for you guys when in the brick and mortar classroom, when students are coming in a half hour late and leaving 45 minutes early or a half hour early, parents coming and getting their student, how disruptive for you. You won't have that this year. If a student can't make the class, those recorded sessions will be there, right there. We can send them out, and then with a short little activity, and they can work on them at home. So then, you know, nobody's falling behind. They're all right on schedule. It's going to be less time packing up and straightening your rooms, and no winter travel, which is beautiful. Nancy and I are always just a text away with technical issues that arise, and we can just pop into your room within seconds. That's not a problem with simple text, and boom. We are adding an extra day, so we've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for classes, because we're trying to spread out the class sizes. We're trying to keep them small and manageable for you. I don't want any more than 10 to 12 students in a classroom, and I think we're going to be able to succeed at that. So you will have another adult in the room. It's it's required by the Archdiocese that there's a minimum of two adults in the room at all times. So you'll either have an actual teacher's aide or a parent that will be in there. If I can't get enough parents to dedicate themselves to being in the classroom, I will start up a rotating schedule with my families to accomplish that. And this is going to make it, many of you know that I have significant health issues, and I can't climb stairs. So I've never been able to come into your classrooms and actually observe and kind of just, get to know what you're teaching and stuff. I'll be able to do that this year. So I'm very excited about that. It gives me more leniency that way. So Nancy and I will be able to pop in. Dawn's planning on popping in just to, check things out and see what you're teaching, and no critique, no, no, not standing there trying to nitpick what you're teaching or how you're teaching it. That's not the intention at all. I just kind of like to see what my teachers are teaching and know what you guys are all about. So basically, going virtually with thank God for cell phones. At this point, I've very seldom ever said that, but thank God for cell phones, because they're going to be kind of like our roaming RE office. Nancy and I will be there for you at the drop of a text. I will not be available on Mondays. I still am doing my graduate class studies, and so I do still have class at the seminary on Monday evenings, but Nancy and Dawn will be around and should be able to join your classroom from time to time and help you out, no problem. And if need be, if I got a text that said you really need to get into this classroom now, I can certainly back out of my graduate class and hop in and see what's going on. So let's look at the curriculum. And again, this is going to be quick. You guys can pause and based on what class you're planning on teaching and kind of look through this more thoroughly. But we are doing a different combination of different curriculums this year. Kindergarten and first grade, we're doing a video-based Bible story. I want the kids to be familiarized with the important Bible stories, Noah's Ark, the creation story, resurrection, and the nativity, and that type of thing. So we're going to be doing different Bible studies, Bible videos. I did get permission from an author, Jared Dees, who just published a book, or had a book published that is written for this age group, and it is the hot topic Bible stories, I guess, if you want to call it that. He did give me permission to record those, narrate them on recording, and then to put some videos, cute animations and graphics to them. So I'm working on that, and I'll kind of combine that. Do I expect you to sit in the classroom for an entire half hour with 5 and 6-year-olds? Absolutely not. If you can get 15 minutes out of them, I think you're going to be doing good. These videos are going to be about 10 minutes long. And then they'll have some very simple prayers that you'll introduce them to and work on with them each week, and that the families can work on at home as well. If I have a brief discussion after the Bible story, I'll provide you some questions to talk with them about. You can come up with your own questions if you don't want to use mine. And then an activity that they can, a coloring activity or something that they can work on with mom and dad while the discussion's being had. If you can keep them in there for a half hour, all the more power to you. But just know I'm not going to stress you out by forcing you to say you have to be in there for a half of an hour. You certainly do not. These guys, their little minds, they're like little sponges, so they're going to soak that stuff right up. My second grade catechists, we'll be using the FLOM. I believe it's the Alive in Christ Sacramento program. It's the one we've used for the last 2 or 3 years. For my new catechists that might not be familiar with it, it's a 2 kind of series program where the first 6 weeks you concentrate with the students on first reconciliation. At that point, you would ideally do a reconciliation retreat. We're not planning one this year because of COVID. They'll be doing more of a take-home something, and then they're going to be on their honor to go to confession. We just don't have the priest because most of the priests, including Father Loyola, are outside of the or within the restrictions of being 60 or over and having underlying health problems. So I just don't have the priests. So that will be on their honor, on the parents' honor, to get their children to confession, their first reconciliation, of which saddens me, but it is what it is. And then the second half of the year, they concentrate on First Communion, and again, it's 6 weeks. It's a cute booklet, packaging that they have, materials that they have. It's got stickers and this stuff. The kids really enjoy it. And then, nice thing about it is that with the length of time, the number of classes that we have, you'll have 2 or 3 extra classes in there to maybe plan a Saturday morning. You want to go to the church and tour the church, or you want to go and have a breakfast and some kind of an in-person activity that you want to do. You'll have that ability, or maybe you can become very creative and look at something that you can do virtually. We do have a First Communion retreat being planned. It's planned for March 13th, I believe. I don't know what I've got with this date going on here. But I'm looking at maybe possibly rescheduling that for April 24th, simply because I want to bring in Spiritus ministry team out of Menasha. The kids love those ministry teams. And I'm hoping that, April would be a great time. It's real close to their actual First Communion, and it would be nicer weather. So I know Spiritus likes to do a lot of outdoor activities for their retreats. So if that does happen, if that does occur and we need to reschedule that, you and my families will definitely get plenty of notice beforehand. And again, Dawn will be offering these students fun activities that build community. 3rd and 6th grade, nothing real special. We're going to stick with the FLOM Gospel Weeklies. For those of you who are familiar with the Gospel Weeklies, you'll know that there's a lot of added stories and activities. It's a great program. But again, we're going to be cutting back on a lot of that stuff. You're going to be looking at the doctrinal portion of it and the core of that, the activities, and hopefully the prayer ideas and that type of thing will go home to the families to work on with their student as an activity. 7th and 8th grade, I'm very excited about my 7th and 8th grade curriculum this year. It's we're not using the kids have expressed a disinterest in FLOM. They've gotten to the point where we're too old for this. So we're going to do 2 different Bible studies with these guys this year. The first one is the Bible timeline for teens, and they will be spend 8 weeks, the first 8 weeks of the classes, studying that. They'll do the videos at home. They'll each get a key pass. It's all done online. They'll each get a key pass to get in, so they'll be able to watch the video at home prior to class, giving them great flexibility in scheduling. And then they'll come in for a half of an hour. They each have their own workbook. And you'll be able to work on the workbook with them and discuss the videos as you go with them in that half hour time. Again, if you don't use up the whole half hour, fantastic. That's completely up to you. They are going to be getting that Bible study in one way or the other. You're going to know if they're watching the videos at home, because otherwise they'll be like, And the second 8 weeks of the class of the year will be focusing on Revelation. I thought right now everybody's talking about doomsday and the end of the times and Jesus coming, and I really want to know, them to know, what does Revelation, what do the Catholics truly teach about Revelation? It's not as apocalyptic as one might think. 3 sessions are going to be needed to combine, and then of course with Revelation, it'll follow the same precedent where they'll watch the video at home, and then in class time, you'll do the book, the workbook and discussion. And again, you have breakout sessions. So if you wanted to have half the students go in the class with your teacher's aide, and you take the other half and do a small group discussion. The kids are really, really, really on fire for small group discussions. So you definitely keep that in the back of your mind. 3 of the sessions are going to be needed to be combined, because between these 2, there's 16 total sessions required, and we have 13 through the year. So you'll have to combine three of these sessions. I don't know if you want to add them on at the end or if you want to add them on throughout the course of the year, but you'll just have to schedule 2 videos for that to make up for that in one session. The parents are very excited to study with their children. I've had most of my parents who are commenting on this are just, they're like, we get to learn the Revelations and we get to learn about the Bible, which is very helpful to me and very telling to me that obviously we're lacking in providing something very special and something very desired by our families. And so it gives me something to look at for further on down the road. And again, Dawn will be offering community building activities down the road. High school programming is a little bit different. 9th and 10th grade is going to be combined. However, based on the numbers, we may need to combine smaller pods by being led by different catechists at any given during the evening. High school programming, 9th, 10th, and 11th is meeting on Sundays. They'll all 3 be using the Alpha for Catholic Youth program. Alpha is a very innovative video discussion-based program that lets the catechist control the lessons that they want to teach. They, if you go to alphausa.com or something like that, they have just dozens of different videos that they put together. They do require, for the program to be effective, 6 videos at the beginning that they've put in as an introduction kind of video. It's to get the kids or the students learning and leaning toward what the program is accomplishing. And then you can pick, you would have in a remaining 7 sessions, so you would be able to pick 7 or even 8 if you wanted to, 14 if you wanted to double up the evening. Different videos that you can go through and pick and choose which ones you want to use. We started this program last year with the confirmation students, and extremely popular. Drew Jurgens teaches confirmation, and he and I both noticed that it was the most engaged class we've ever had for confirmation. In fact, I had a group of students that came to me and asked if they could branch off and start their own Alpha for their peers, and like in a coffee shop. And that's exactly what Alpha is intended for. Small group break-off sessions that meet in coffee shops, or they meet in restaurants, or in a park kind of thing. It's a real in-your-face, back to the basics of who Jesus is and what's our faith all about. So we're going to bring that in with the 9th and 10th grade students. High school programming is a little bit different. To keep the class sizes down, the catechists will still teach 2 separate sessions, but they're going to be 45-minute sessions each. The first session will run from 5 to 5:45, and then again from 6:45 to 7:30. It'll give you some time to have some supper. If you wanted to teach something different the second session, you could do that. We'll give you that opportunity. Classes are going to Zoom 2 Sundays a month. And I believe it's working out to be the first and the third Sunday every month. But Dawn is going to be, and we're going to be hopefully working with the catechist teams once we establish who they are, to set up activities. The confirmation students are doing something a little different, and I'd like to kind of begin incorporating this with the 9th and 10th students, where 1 week out of the month One Sunday they meet in the classroom virtually. And then the second Sunday out of the month, they're actually doing what we're calling confirmands in action. And they're going out into the community to do programs, hands-on programs, social ministry programs, or maybe just gathering at the parish center to watch a movie together, to do some community time together. And I'm hoping with the 9th and 10th grades, while the confirmands are doing that every month, I'm hoping with the 9th and 10th grades to introduce it to them and maybe do it 2, maybe 3 sessions throughout the year, depending on what the catechists prefer. And these sessions would take place of the actual virtual classroom. And again, Dawn will work with you on that. She's doing some really great programming and planning with our catechists right now. So she has some good ideas. But she's also going to be offering separate community building fun activities for the students throughout the year. Finally, confirmation, again, it's Alpha for Catholic Youth. I'm not going to get real invested in this discussion because I have my catechist team built right now. But catechism or confirmation is a little bit different. They're meeting from 5 to 6:30, and it's a solid hour and a half that they will be meeting. Drew and Pam, Drew Jurgens and Pam Feltus from St. Teresa's will be co-teaching the class. And we have some mentors set up. So that program, the confirmation program, is very well on its way. It could start tomorrow if it needed to. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that at all right now. So calling all catechists, we really do need you. We need your talents. You guys are amazing. If you're feeling called as an aide, as a catechist, maybe just as a mentor this year, please, we have a sign up genius that the link is in this email that precedes this video. Go ahead and sign up. It looks very confusing, the sign up genius does, because we do offer 3 different days and different time slots for each day. But if you have a preferred class time and it's been taken, let me know. We can work around that in some way, shape, or form. Also, please sign up. We'll be sending out a different email, a separate email, or actually, I believe that there's a link for an in-service date for a sign-up genius that you can sign up for one of the 3 in-service dates in September. If you were an aide last year, please consider taking a class this year as a catechist. Hopefully you start off as an aide, you get your feet wet, and you realize that teaching isn't so bad. These are very creative little minds. They're very eager to learn, but they need you to help them. And if you're feeling that call, by all means, feel free. We can use you as a catechist. And there's, I walk with you hand in hand. Nancy walks with you hand in hand. There's always support for you. Some of you have expressed an interest in teaching more than one class. I have one catechist that's wanting to teach 3 different classes on different nights. Fantastic. If you want to do that, by all means, do that. I think it's awesome. Keep in mind, while it may or may not be important, both catechists and aides do receive a reduction in tuition for the year. So that can help take a chunk out of what your fees are for religious education. Once the teaching spots are filled, Nancy and I will be preparing the materials to get them out to you for review. I hope to have them out. Classes start, I believe, the 2nd week of October. So I hope to have them out to you before the in-services. It's going to be kind of a sprint for me to do. I spent the entire summer trying to get this together and working on sacramental celebrations, and a very taxing graduate studies program. It was horrible over the summer. But I'm getting caught up, and I will get those materials out to you for review, hopefully before the in-services. And the Arch, again, has given us the green light to relax a little and explore new and innovative ideas for the classroom. Your creativity is welcome. While you may not be able to do a craft, or maybe you could do a craft, if you had something in mind that you wanted to do, get the information and the materials or what you need to Nancy or myself, and we can get them to the families so that one of your class sessions might be, I don't know, building popsicle churches or whatever. I'm not sure what your ideas are, but use your creativity. It's definitely welcomed. And again, you're going to have full support from Nancy and myself throughout the year. It really is about about the kids, but it's also about answering that call to live your faith and pass it on. So in conclusion, I want to thank you for taking your time to watch this video. God has given each of us a calling, and you guys are amazing. So, and I thank you for responding to your call to share Jesus with these young minds. Nobody is unable to spread the good news to the world. There's absolutely nobody that's unable to do that. Even Helen Keller could spread the good news, and she was blind and deaf. You are truly sharing hope, joy, and peace through your works, your words, and your deeds. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact the RE office. So I'd like to close us in prayer, and then I hope you enjoy what little tiny bit of your summer is left. Have a great and safe Labor Day. I'm going to be on retreat from September 8th through the 11th. I'll be gone and completely shutting off from the world. So if you need to reach me, I will, be back on the 14th, and we'll be more than happy to return phone calls and texts or emails. So let's pray. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Loving Father, as we close this video, please bless all who have watched and will answer the call to serve you. Fill them with your Holy Spirit so that they may teach with compassion, understanding, and innocence, just as did your Son, Jesus. Bless all of the young minds who will learn and who will come to know you through the words and actions of these teachers and aides. And may you bless all of us in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless every one of you. Stay safe.